नमस्कार. आज का एपिसोड इज अबाउट पैसा पैसा पैसा. आई डोंट नो इफ यू ऑल विल रिमेंबर ये कहाँ से आ रहा है. मैं इसके नहीं बारे बात करने वाला, बट जो ये समझता है उसको ये समझना है कि ये देखना बहुत आवश्यक है, ज़रूरी है, एंड इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू वॉच इफ यू इंटेंड टू सेव एनी मनी. बट ऑफ कोर्स विल मेक यू स्पेंड इट इवेंचुअली. हाहा. बट why we are here today, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're watching it, it's always a good time. It's talking about wellness. It's talking about well-being. It's talking about human behavior. It's talking about the ease of living and how a product which you use in your house can actually influence how you live better, peacefully. I want to reiterate the fact that between 15 to 18 hours you're inside a building, your home, office, or wherever you are, and all you want is peace. You want to actually go back to relax. Okay, you can go party in a discotheque, but that's where you go to get extra energy, high end. But when you want to come home, that's what you call home, is a place where you can actually go in peace, relax, sit down, get a drink, get a coffee, whatever. And just nowadays, a lot of talk is about human wellness. Thanks to COVID, I would say thanks to COVID, it's not a nice thing to say though. It helped us a lot to learn about what we need. And eventually everybody needed peace. We were able to work from home, so noise, outside voice, all of this becomes important, and that's why we are here today. Today's show is presented by Fenesta Windows, India's largest company, institution in the business of doors and windows. And we stitched this idea together to put up a show about how a product can actually influence ease of living. I don't want to repeat myself, ease of living, but simple words, Shanti. इतनी अशांति है, इतना ट्रैफिक है, इतना पानी भर रहा है वगैरह वगैरह, बट एंड ऑफ द डे यू वांट टू कम बैक टू शांति. लॉट ऑफ पीपल सेड शांति कौन है आपकी लाइफ में? मैं सेड ऐसा कुछ नहीं है भाई. शांति इज नॉट अ पर्सन. शांति कैन बी एनीबॉडी, दैट इज ट्रू. सो हैविंग सेड दैट एज अ फ्रेम, वी आर not going to talk about anything far too technical for you to understand. Simplistic way of how you should approach buying products in your house, offices, buildings, and so on and so forth. So we have an actor, influencer, an ex-army, and a current actor who's going to teach us a lot of stuff. Please ध्यान से सुनिएगा. We have an architect who has studied abroad and in India and has a legacy firm, and we have the business head. So having said that as a frame, I'm going to kick this off conversation. Please याद रखना पैसा. So we kick this off with ladies first. Mitu.
Thank you so much. I'm Mitu Mathur, architect and urban designer. I'm a passionate observant, and I really enjoy working in urban areas. And working for the public is something that I'm really focusing on right now with the projects that we have in hand. And as you rightly said, that in today's time, what we are looking forward to is the peace, ease of living. The ease of being in a city is something that is an interesting subject that we are trying to decode with everything that we work on, whether it is our approach to the design, whether it is the materials we are using, and also in terms of how we make it easy for people to make a choice and to make them understand technical stuff and take a decision. So great platform here with technical teams, somebody who's a veteran in the industry, with you who will be steering the communication. I look forward to this dialogue and see what it unfolds.
So you like architecture, it seems.
Yes, I like architecture.
Stupid question though.
I like architecture because I feel architecture enables us to design things, design a way of life. And you know, we have moved on from the Taj Mahals and the forts of architecture. Now architecture you see in every piece of your life, whether it is a simple bathroom to a simple office or home or theater, cinema, any place you go. If it is well designed, it is something that you connect with instantaneously, you relate to it, you enjoy being there. And I think wellness and architecture and design are something that go hand in hand. So yes, I really enjoy, because everywhere I walk in, there is never a dull conversation when you have an architect in the room. I say it that way, because it can tie back to anything that you look around.
I will have to come back to that towards the end of the show.
Yes.
But I want to add one thing, Mitu, and we'll come back to the other panelists, that as a consumer, if you're building a house, an office, you will never know anything more than 5% on a tile or a floor or a window or a door or a bathroom fitting, you'll have to trust an expert.
Correct.
And we here, as our job, as industry veterans, is to actually be the experts, whether you like it or not, to be able to at least listen to what we're saying and take some semblance from here and be able to understand that you would not know everything. So the specialists who know their areas of operation, listen to them. They make some sense in whatever they're saying, and then it's up to you, man. It's up to you to spend your money. Sushil ji.
Well, I don't know where to start, but my name is Sushil Dahiya. Of course, I live in Gurgaon, and I think I've done too many things. Like he said, I did get selected for the NDA, but we changed course after a very small experience there. Then I climbed mountains a lot.
Wow.
In fact, I was very lucky enough to be, before I went to college, I went to St. Stephen's.
Oh, wow.
Before I went to college, I had finished all the courses that are there.
In St. Stephen's?
No, in the mountaineering.
Really?
Wow.
Like
So you're level 5, level 10, I don't know.
We only have 3 levels.
3?
at the-
Okay. Sorry, my bad.
What was it called? Nehru Institute of Mountaineering in Uttarkashi.
क्या बात है?
Okay, wow.
I was lucky to have a very adventure-oriented principal in school, Mr. Hari Dang. My life revolved around adventure of any kind. It could be learning a new language. It could be staying in a country where you don't know the language originally, trying to present my country to tourists as a tour guide.
Exception.
And then, of course, I acted a lot when I was a kid. Significantly in school, we did a play called Bade Aadmi. That was my turning point where I started thinking that I should act. But we had to put food on the table, so I went to work in the travel industry and spent a lot of time in Japan. Came back, started my own adventure company where we used to help foreigners climb mountains because they needed a middleman because our government restrictions and like there's 100 permits you have to get before you can climb a mountain in this country, and still goes on like that. I'm a voice trainer. I'm a English language teacher. I teach English off and on. Now I'm an actor.
You're a grammar Nazi.
Yeah, my children make a lot of fun of me because I keep correcting them. You know, there's one particular sentence which I jump at.
Tell me.
Almost I want to throttle people when they say, I gave that exam. And I don't care who says that, I always jump and say, no, you didn't give that exam, you took the exam.
It took the
You
exam.
took that
And
exam.
that's one of the things in this
Right.
country where
No, I was grammar Nazi in the morning while I was driving here by my daughter who's joined us today from tire to tear, and then I got corrected again by Sushmita here from Fenesta. Okay, we get that all the time.
yeah, that's important because
So thank you, kids.
even though, you know, I used to not like this LOL business and stuff.
LOL.
But then now I have sort of
You said that out.
reconciled
You said that out.
to it.
I said you adjusted to it.
Because I, as a
Wi-Fi.
language teacher, I appreciate that even in communicative language,
Right.
there has to be an evolution.
For sure, for
Correct,
sure.
yeah.
And but it's
नहीं, मैंने LOL का फंडा थोड़ा चेंज कर दिया. Listen, observe, learn.
that's probably a better
Yeah,
because
मतलब sounds more meaningful. That would
Yeah.
go with your vocabulary dictionary per se. So
exactly we can do that.
that's mine.
Okay.
So that's my IP.
So that's who I am. I enjoy life, and like her, I enjoy socializing. So
So the next party is at Dahiya ji's house
Yes.
soon. Absolutely. That's where we get our drinks. So,
absolutely.
Yes.
so Saket, over to you.
Okay, so I'm already inspired by listening all of you in terms of your journeys, in terms of your passion and the kind of work that you are doing. I am very different. My name is Saket Jain. I'm representing Fenesta. I'm being with this company for almost like 26 years now.
Wow.
Wow.
And if I have to describe myself, I'll say I'm a learner all throughout my life and would like to remain like that. And I do what I love, and I love what I do. In terms of Fenesta, if I talk about, and as you mentioned about the theme of today's discussion, I think the vision that we are having is to improve the lives and homes of our customers, and that's what we believe in truly. and that's what we work for day in, day out. Over, back to you.
So I will try to shift the conversation, but I want to add something. I was in China after COVID for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I've been going to China for 20 years, sourcing materials and so on and so forth. And from the first time that I went and used to look at the infrastructure, मुझे याद है अभी भी 2005-6 I was in a remote town, सारी सड़कें बनी हुई थी, खाली थी. मैंने कहा ये बड़े अजीब से लोग हैं भाई, बंदा एक ना सड़क पे और कार चल रही थी जैसे हमारी घोड़ा गाड़ी चल रही थी. तो मैंने कहा ये इसके लिए हाईवे बनाया फिर तो. But then if you look back 20 years back, they were thinking 30 years back where they are today. And I went back today, and I think, and I don't want to mean anything negative per se for our country or people, but I think those guys have amazing discipline. Okay, whatever rivalry, political that we have against countries, that's a different story. But I think as a country, I think I call China as a company, where everybody is an employee and they work towards a common goal. They're all hardworking. And even the smallest towns, I was in 7 cities in this last trip, and I saw multi-storied apartments, houses, villas, all kinds, from whatever price to whatever million. But there was a line, and gaddi uthi si paji, nothing was deviated out. I think where we need to work towards, and again, connected to the subject of ease of living, is also to have a disciplined mindset in terms of what.
Yes.
Don't try to cut corners everywhere. Try to listen to experts when you're doing decision making, where you don't know. But if we are able to discipline ourselves, and with the dream of our government and ourselves to be 10, 20, 30 trillion dollar economy, I think it's all possible. The progress is there, but so I'll give you a fun fact about this industry. So the total building industry is like a few $1 trillion going forward in time, next few years. $1 trillion is a lot of money. I was doing a little bit of math. I was comparing China to the cities that they have versus the cities that we have. And this is my own math, so please don't take that from that perspective. That they're going to be like 100,000 towers which are going to be built in India. And then you add the villas and the residences and the farmhouses and blah, blah, blah. Forget, the number is deviating. You have 500 homes in a tower. You're talking about, I wrote down a number, looking at 50 million apartments, stroke complexes, which will need 500 million windows and doors, bro. And if you do the math in terms of numbers, that's looking to me like a $50 billion industry. A $50 billion industry out of a $1 trillion industry is a fair 5%. In the next, I would say 5 to 10 years. So there's enough business for all of us.
Sure.
Inshallah. But that's where it becomes important to actually understand the intricacy of this trade. पैसा तो खर्च होगा ही, गलत काम करके भी खर्च होगा, सही काम कर भी खर्च. But I think the essence lies in the fact that you understand what makes the difference in the two. Right decision making requires you to think and rely on an expert, and wrong decision making is you trying to be always over smart, which we have tendency. Yeah, so I'm sure, Mitu, you go to customers and you give them Gyan Pi Mathur ka Gyan, and what do they tell you?
Yes.
Gyan mat do, paise bata do kitne hain.
No, so honestly speaking, I've learned it the hard way.
For
because
sure.
when I joined the industry, we were already an established name, and people used to feel that, there were fewer architects, the understanding was still developing, urbanization was not that rampant. So there
Can I
there
ask you a
was.
question? Can you broadline urbanization for everybody? Just a broader concept of urbanization.
Okay.
बस हिंदी में भाई सब मतलब समझ आ रहे हैं सब लोग.
So when I say urbanization, it's about catering to the requirements of the booming population. And when I say the population, so we are looking at how the family sizes and dynamics are changing. So from a multi-family, we are now getting more into nuclear family sizes. So more number of homes. Then we are looking at the expectations of each family. So more area per family, which was earlier lesser. So we are looking at a more per capita area sort of a scenario here. And also with the changing lifestyle and globalization, or accessibility and understanding of global norms, and an increase in lifestyle changing, there is a requirement of other allied activities for recreation, for shopping, for wellness, for all sorts of activities. The requirement per family is I wouldn't say it's increasing, but it is evolving with times. And now as lifestyle is changing and people are getting more and more aware, there is a sudden requirement of these newer types of areas which are coming up. So urbanization is essentially taking care of the changing or evolving requirements of today's family and the changing family sizes. Now we look at multiple types of projects. A simple commercial complex has also diversified. There is high street, there is mall, there is mixed use, there is mall with multiplex, food court, offices. You know, there is a diversification. Institutional segment has diversified. The schools, the kind of institutes, different type of institutes, residential. I mean, the residential today we are talking about not as just a tower, but like urban resorts, or wellness towers, or something which in one tower or few towers you pack in all the amenities, so people don't have to move out.
Go around.
So
So traffic is a
hotels.
menace anyways. Driving out is a menace.
So the idea is that how we can make our areas more self-sufficient. So if I'm living in a condominium, then how can I give those amenities that I don't rely on getting my car out of there?
So does that
That's just for residential.
Does that change the requirement of, let's say, a product like a window or a door from each of the application, whether it's an institution,
so there is,
school,
yes,
residential?
there is a understanding or appreciation of system windows that we are seeing now. I'm going to be a little technical here, because the kind of specifications that are being appreciated now is a good sign for all of us, because earlier it used to be difficult for technical people to explain people what are the advantages of investing in something that is a double glazed unit or a laminated glass unit.
Correct.
Or a proper system window which has better insulation. So these are the technical things that people never used to understand. They used to feel कि मैं इतना बड़ा glass लगा लूँगा तो मेरा security problem हो जाए, कोई तोड़ के अंदर आ गया तो. But the technology is there to take care of it. और अगर इतना बड़ा glass लगा लेंगे तो धूप बहुत ज़्यादा आएगी, पूरा घर गर्म हो जाएगा. But now with the changing, I would say appreciation of the technology, people have understood the importance of investing in better products for the safety and security. At the same time, get full view of the from the window, or get like full light, better natural light without the heat gain.
The vitamin
and at
D
the
shot
same
ना
time,
लगाने पड़े.
correct.
इससे अच्छा है कि natural
Yeah,
sunlight
I mean,
मिले.
I still remember Fenesta had this very beautiful advertisement at the back of all the magazines.
Can I say?
Wherein there was a yoga, a lady doing yoga,
Yes.
and traffic outside.
But you know what it said? It said noise should be seen,
Yes,
not
not
heard.
heard.
I don't know Sushmita was responsible for that, but I don't know. This is
So I feel the times are changing. Good thing is that people are now appreciating the technological advancements and embracing them also. But yes, as coming back to your question, are people listening to people who are technically sound enough or not? I'm still wary of that, because still there are people
okay.
who
So
would
better
not
off
want
than
to.
where we were. But
Yeah.
Saket, from the point of view of a product manufacturer and seller and an institution in this industry, how is your experience today? Same question: are people listening to you, or they saying passive? Otherwise, anyway.
So I think as both of you mentioned, the whole universe is evolving. It is better off as compared to what it was, and I think thanks to companies like us who have been instrumental, and of course the experts like yourself who have been instrumental in taking this forward, people have started listening. People have started listening, I would yes agree to, but in terms of following it is something still to be kind of looked up to. It's a journey. I would say it's a journey because. Again, going back to the first question that you asked in terms of urbanization or the way the whole world is evolving. Earlier, the houses and offices were more like shelter. That's good enough. You have a chat on your head. That's good enough. Over a period of time, it evolved to functionality. What kind of functionalities can I get from a space that I'm building for myself or for my family? And then, of course, now it is more towards convenience, ease. How the things are evolving in terms of, you talked about peace. It is also talked about wellness. It's also about how aesthetic it is. So it's about various things that are now coming into the play. So from a medieval age of just a shelter to a functionality to more of convenience and ease of living and better by design, things which can be better by design from day one rather than being by just by luck kind of a thing. I think so. The world is evolving, and all of us are playing a critical role in that. And I think it's a journey which will continue for a longer period of time.
I also want to add this word, whoever's name is Shanti, you're in highest demand right now. So remember that. I could help myself to say that. Sarji, you're the consumer buying the product. We are all consumers also. But what is your take on whatever we're talking about, design and so on and so forth?
The rooms we got Fenestad
Fenestad, that's a nice word.
are a pleasure to sleep in now, or to sit in now, to read in now. Because suddenly, I think I don't have a monitor to calculate how much percentage, but I think approximately 60% of the noise that used to come in has gone. I mean, it's quieter by at least 50 to 60%. The noise we still have is because of the wooden doors, which were,
पुराने लगे हुए हैं.
my house was made in 2004, so that's almost 20 years. One of the things I've learned after I did those 2 rooms at home with Fenesta windows, thank you very much, like you mentioned, quality of life. Ab nahi to kab, my own life expectancy is perhaps maybe 20 years from now. So I want to be comfortable for this 20 years. Our life has changed considerably since we got Fenesta.
So you feel that there is more Shanti.
Of course, Shanti is
Shanti, remember,
all
you are
around.
in high
because
demand.
the way my house is located, the front is the noisy part. The back is not the noisy part. And the front is this massive road in a village and a development institute across the road and a flyover now. So what happens in the flyover, the noise in fact
Is on the first floor.
increases because then it comes directly to you instead of bouncing off the road and things like that. So we are better for it.
But sir, I want to use this opportunity since you're here. We want to get some juice on Bollywood. How was it like working with Ranveer Singh in Band Baja Barat? I think 14 years back, and with Ranbir Kapoor about the same time in Rockstar.
Yeah, it was absolutely a pleasure. Those people are, both of them are very talented.
So Mitu will try to shift tangent to conversation like noise pollution is probably we're rocking right at the top of the radar in our noise pollution.
Yeah.
So when you're actually designing windows and doors and comfort, how is this noise pollution aspect being addressed? You were mentioning about insulating glass. Can you stretch a little bit, elaborate on that, and how important is design of the window from a noise control aspect, from an overality perspective?
Yeah. So I think it is a very important factor, and not many people would know, but nowadays we have a green building certification system. People know कि green buildings होती हैं, but green buildings को बनाने में green buildings के process में noise एक बहुत बड़ा factor होता है. It's a very important part of the checklist that we have to take care of. And interestingly, now a lot of building industry is embracing green building system and certification also is
Can you elaborate a little bit of green building per se?
So basically a green building essentially is something that is sustainable. Green is just a term given to it. Anything which is sustainable respects all the 5 elements of air, water, earth, sound, all the 5 elements. If you are respecting in any development, then you are sustainable, and then you are eligible to get a green building certification. Very
noise,
simply put.
It's supposed to be decibel value.
Decibel value, absolutely.
So decibel per se, the sound outside can be measured with a meter.
Correct.
How much noise?
Yes.
I'll give you an example of the Taj. Sorry, I had to intervene. The Taj Santa Cruz at the airport. The requirement of decibel value inside the room was 30 something.
Right.
And outside you have a runway. So some of the rooms, the facade faces the runway, where outside must be 500,000 decibel, aircraft landing, blah, blah, blah. But the inside was 30, which means sound had to be an absolute imperative.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, bhai sahab, lol, you won't be able to sleep. Please. Lol, yeah.
Yeah. So sound is a very important aspect, and a lot of people are embracing it now, because with the green building certification now, almost all the cities are giving extra FAR. तो पहले जो बिल्डर कम्युनिटी सुनती नहीं थी कि हमें ग्रीन बिल्डिंग सर्टिफिकेशन क्यों लेनी चाहिए, बिकॉज majority of people were selling homes or shops and moving out. But now when they are getting extra area to build,
तो FAR
everybody,
बोले तो
FAR means floor area ratio. It means per given piece of land you can build more area and hence sell more area and hence generate more profit.
Correct.
So very simply put, it's an economics given to the developers so that they are embracing and implementing green building strategies in their projects.
तो ज़्यादा एरिया बेचेंगे, ज़्यादा पैसे कमाएंगे तो थोड़े ज़्यादा खर्चने नहीं पड़ेंगे, बट ऐसे थोड़ा और कॉन्शियसली खर्चने पड़ेंगे ताकि दे कैन गेट.
I think it was important at a time where so much was happening in our cities कि हमारे पास ज़मीन है, हमारे पास में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, हमारे पास में पैसे देने वाले लोग हैं बिल्डिंग्स बनाने के लिए, बट एक राइट डायरेक्शन नहीं हो पा रही थी बिकॉज हर कोई हर चीज़ कर रहा था. सो एक सिस्टम में लाने के लिए आई थिंक इट वॉज इम्पॉर्टेंट टू introduce the green building strategy, although I'm not a very big proponent of green building certification as such, but in urban scenarios it worked well because developer community started acknowledging it and using it also.
नहीं, बस सीधी सी बात है ना, पैसा मिल रहा है तो वो acknowledgement easier हो रहा है.
Correct, and win-win situation for everyone, right?
No offense to any developer, buddy here, buddy. So we're all friends.
No, I think everybody understands it now.
Language of money is easy to
और
understand.
जैसे जैसे हमारे developments are taking shape, people are using it now, so they see the value in the money invested. So coming back to your question,
Noise.
yes, noise is a very important factor. What was happening earlier was the size of the window or the opening versus with respect to the size of the light and the noise was something that people were confused about. जितनी बड़ी window उतना बड़ा, उतना ज़्यादा heat और उतना ज़्यादा noise was the perception. But now it is changing. So with the bigger size of window, they are now aware that yes, we can still reduce the noise, still reduce the heat, and still get the better light intake in any space. So noise is very important. I mean, whether it is our houses, hospitals, hotels, offices, anywhere, you don't want the nuisance of sound.
We were talking about a subject of designing for noise. I wanna ask Sushil ji one question. इतने बड़े बड़े सेट होते हैं, but how do they manage noise and such clarity of voice in spite of this humongous outside environment and so on?
पुराने ज़माने में there used to be a thing called Nagra.
Nagra.
It was a recording device, and that used to record all the sound, all the voice and all the
of the person speaking
and everything, and that then went into the laboratories afterwards, post-production ke time pe, and then the artists had to go back to the studios and lip sync in a soundproof environment.
Okay.
Right? So all that faltu sound was out. The Nagra sound was used in your ears,
right,
and you had to repeat the same way and try to lip sync. Now technology has advanced so much that the mics they have,
the staple mics, what we
staple
call
mics, and even the staple mics are of various technological levels, and now they have
like noise reduction and all that.
Noise reduction, basically.
Right.
I mean, I shot
noise
for
cancellation.
Noise cancellation.
Like our AirPods.
I shot for a Japanese movie, I think 2 years or 3 years ago, and all I had for sound was a little thingamy in my ears.
Like Mission Impossible.
Like that, almost. And that sound is crystal clear. So you don't have to go to a laboratory and do lip sync anymore. That's how it works.
So,
fabulous.
And also directors now have reconciled to the fact that if there is a plane going, and if the dialogues are very important,
मैं तुमसे प्यार करता हूँ type
important,
right.
then
Something to that effect.
the sound director says, wait, and then they start.
Okay.
Right.
But a crow or a dog barking is part of the scene anyway.
Correct.
So if you are on the street, you will
Natural,
hear sound of
authentic.
scooter and rickshaw and whatever, chai wala and whatever. So they become more.
तो noise के चक्कर में कितनी बार retake किया होगा सर maximum?
कई बारी होता है, especially airplanes, because the airplane sound drowns out everything else.
Correct.
While the crowing doesn't.
But that's a different frequency, right?
It's a different frequency altogether.
So Saket, taking the tangent of noise, importance of a great window or an enclosure to, you have concrete brick and you have windows. That's the only envelope that you have in a house, right? So how important are your customers looking at this aspect, or are you still telling them that this is important? Maybe you can tell a real life story, that will be really nice.
Sure. So I think this is getting a lot of traction now in terms of people understanding the importance of peace, and especially the pollution of noise
Pollution.
which kinds of deviates you from this kind of a peace that you would want to have, whether during the day or at night. There is so much of noise pollution, and with so much of urbanization that is happening, so much of infrastructure that is being built across, I think there's too much of noise. And I think way back in 2008-9 we had a campaign called the ones you just talked about, noise should be seen, not heard. And
I love that campaign.
I really admire that, yes.
Yeah.
And then we of course again came back pre-COVID, a new campaign called Shut the Shore.
Shut the shore.
And this was all about kind of shutting all kind of shore that you have in life, whether it is an actual noise pollution or anything that is kind of pulling you down.
Very
How do you shut
Chalo, ye
that?
to marketing ho gayi. Actually, how did you put this into practice in your product?
Okay. So I think any good quality product, especially on the windows and doors, what it does, it insulates the outside world and the inside worlds. It just becomes like a meeting point. I think as you were just mentioning about the windows are getting bigger. Yes, especially in India, the windows are getting bigger and bigger. In fact, now in most of the apartments, one full wall
Yes.
is a window.
Is a window.
It's not a window anymore. It's like a door actually.
Correct. I mean, you don't have doors in the, I mean, we call it fenestrations only.
Correct. Correct.
Balcony and then it's
Yeah.
glazing.
So it's one full, in fact, even in apartments with room sizes having one wall as even 15 feet, it's like one single pane or two panes or three panes. It's like a complete window or a door. Now, when you have that kind of a scenario or a situation, how do you kind of still manage to have the outside disturbances not coming inside? And those outside disturbances are various, including noise, heat, pollution. And I think noise is one big thing. I think India as a country, if we talk about in fenestration, sound is a big issue because of which fenestration got populated in the country. Internationally, if we see, these windows became very popular because of energy efficiency.
Heat and cold,
Heat and cold,
essentially
especially the cold, because you need a lot of energy to
Right.
kind of
Right.
keep your houses hot because of the cold outside. But in India, the importance of good quality products, good quality windows and doors happened because of the sound insulation. And there have been umpteen example, in fact, including my own. Like when I joined Fenesta around 12-13 years back, and I told my family members that, of course, they knew about Fenesta a bit, but then I said, no, it actually insulates and it reduces sound and all. They said, as you just talked about, marketing hai, so now that you are into the business, you'll have to market.
Walk the
And a
talk.
year later, when I actually put those windows and doors in my house, and they realized, wow, because there was a community center just next door. There used to be a lot of shadis that used to happen in Haryanvi side shadis, and we had all kind of music, and suddenly that music stopped.
Yes.
Keep on getting. In fact, yesterday also somebody shared with me a LinkedIn post. Somebody has mentioned about there's too much noise outside, and somebody, I don't know who, just put Fenesta windows. Your all noise will be out. So I think there's so much of that noise which you need to avoid.
But if I want to ask you this question from a consumer perspective, and I'll ask Sushil ji to answer this as well, what should a consumer keep in mind when you're talking about noise and you want to have the least noise, not 100%, but least noise when you're deciding about a window?
Okay, so I think before that, let me answer this question a little differently. Most of the times in India, the consumer is not aware of what the problem they have to solve. Whether it is noise, sound, noise, light, heat, or what. So I think that's where Fenesta comes into play. What we do is we do a consultative selling, and we therefore get into first understanding what are the pain points, actual pain
Pains
points.
तो सबके similar ही हैं,
No,
मोटा-मोटी.
lot of people actually do not know sound is an issue.
Okay.
There have been umpteen cases. In fact, for example, we get almost close to around 1,000 appreciations on a monthly basis on various platforms, in fact, including...
Do you pay for them?
No, not at all.
Just kidding.
So these are our actual customers, almost like 200, 250 comes on Facebook and mention about us. And a lot of times they say that they never realized that in their lives, sound was a problem. And for example, there was one customer who said, I was not having a good sleeping pattern, and I didn't realize till I put up Fenesta that actually it was sound which was
Correct.
kind of having
very
that kind
nice.
of an issue.
Very nice.
So therefore, these issues are lingering over a period of time. There are actual needs and actual pain points, and there are latent needs and latent pain points.
So for better sleep, you don't need to have the dawai, put their windows instead.
You need
Perhaps-
to put in right products. I think whether right mattresses, right walls around, right kind of windows and doors. If you put the right products, you'll get the right solution. So I think this issue what you talked about sound, it's a ever growing, and in fact I was just sharing this with Dahiya Sahab in the morning. So the sound levels are also going up at one level, and our patience level are also coming down.
Right.
So they are going conversely opposite in that sense, and therefore having a right kind of a product will make a lot of sense for our consumers, because we will then be able to solve a lot of problems with regard to noise which we are facing on a day-to-day basis.
Also, to add to this, and I'll come back to Dahiya Sahab on this, that when Mitu was mentioning about nuclear families, I was in China a week ago, and I was talking to some friends of mine about the high number of divorce rate is about 45 to 50%, and everybody's living very singular, and everybody has a different taste to what they would like to have in their home.
Correct.
That makes job easy and difficult at the same time.
Right.
But you'll have more clients to cater to in that respect. But as a customer, sir, from your perspective, did you know what Saket is talking about did you know noise and sound as a deterrent, as a factor in deciding?
Yes, because I'll start with the manifestation of what you've just said.
Please.
My own driving changes with the music I'm listening to.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, so
I'm presuming you're quite a maverick driver.
yeah, I'm a good driver. I mean, I've driven.
Maverick is good is different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So the point I'm trying to make is that now when I go on long journeys, for
Right.
example, I go at least once in 3 months or 4 months to Kasoli.
Okay.
I go in the morning and come back in the evening. I go there to buy a cham cham. There's one shop only in this whole world
Wow.
which has the best cham cham. Next trip, maybe you can come with me. But
Chum, Kasoli, 7 hours drive one way.
absolutely.
Some
my-
fetish.
I
This
used
is
to
really
holiday in Kasoli for almost 25 years, so that cham cham shop was. So what I do when I go on a long journey like this is that I put on soft jazz or soft classical music. The moment I put on heavy metal or something, it affects my driving.
Yes.
And that's true. you
That's
know,
true,
it's
that's
really
true,
that's very true.
And I keep telling my children also, they live overseas, that when you're driving, put soft music.
Correct.
That, when I bring to my home, affects my mood, affects my relationship, affects what level of temper I am in, affects how I respond to vocal stimuli from my wife or from my sahayak or from my children or
Right.
from my father or from my dog and stuff like that. And the louder the noise, the more sort of
Aggressive?
you get.
I get
And
what
it's
you're saying.
something that I have sort of
No, you're absolutely correct.
experienced in my life. So once you have this sound, sort of reduced sound environment, and
You get calmer.
you get calmer.
Right.
You don't have
That is
to,
where Shanti comes along. So Shanti, your
that's where
number
the
third
Shanti
time I
comes
mentioned.
walks. Shanti walks into your life.
Shanti walks into your life. Well, I think it's all true, and I'm sending this message out to my kids that when we go for a drive, please don't put that louder music. I also need some peace, but they don't care a shit. But that's okay. it's my suffering, which I've enjoyed doing. But
Sometimes it's good to have that.
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of a
yeah.
thing.
They- actually, they just want me
It
to.
brings that vibe also.
No,
that
but
kind of a thing.
I get the vibe, but they just want me to shut up. That's all, because I talk too much.
No, it really affects.
Actually, the way we kind of experience the environment, it kind of helps us to be the way we are. It's all about that. Like for example, if you walk out of a kind of a meeting in which you had a bad temperament, the whole day goes off. Similarly, if you're coming out of your house which is not kind of giving you the right environment, and again there are hundreds of things in that environment, then your day will be like that. So it's
Correct.
all about, because it's all the manifestation of the way you are.
Correct.
Right.
But I think I want to add to what everybody said here. Whatever we are saying, you put, I can't define the word better windows. I think it's a definition. But आपका ज़्यादा पैसा खर्च नहीं होगा. But you get a better result only if you make a more aware and a conscious decision. I'm going to shift tangent to the subject of light. Now we have farmhouses, villas. I don't want to talk about the camellias and so on and so forth, and so many X crores, 100 blah blah houses being made. And the essence is you're talking about something called slim line windows, where you only see glass and you see more of natural light. So what's your take on that, Mitu, when you design? Give me a real life example.
I don't know how to explain it, but एक मेंटालिटी है, जो डेवलपर मेंटालिटी बहुत सारे लोगों के साथ ही होती है कि हमें तो ये प्रोडक्ट अपना स्पेस बेच के यहाँ से निकल जाना है. सो उनके लिए आप वहाँ पे क्या स्पेसिफिकेशंस यूज़ कर रहे हो और क्या प्रोडक्ट आप क्लाइंट को सेल कर रहे हो अपने एंड यूज़र को, वो मैटर नहीं करता था. यू नो व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग इट डिड नॉट मैटर कि ठीक है कुछ भी लगा के कैसे भी करके वी जस्ट हैव टू फिनिश इट, गेट आउट ऑफ योर
कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट, एंड ऑफ स्टोरी,
वी सेल इट. एंड इट यूज टू बी सो फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग फॉर अस टू सी कि आप इतनी मेहनत से इतनी अच्छी चीज़ बना रहे हो एंड यू आर नॉट वांटिंग टू इवन लिसन टू व्हाट पीपल आर सेइंग. I mean, Windows is just one aspect, but for everything else,
Correct.
you know, the intention was just to get done with it and get out of it, earn your money, put it somewhere else. But now, when things are changing, when their second generation is also joining the business, they see the value in creating assets. And when we are talking about creating assets is when the game changes altogether, because then the appreciation of putting money in the right place is coming into play. कि हमने जो चीज़ बनाई वो 10 साल बाद, लाइक यू सेड, कि हमारे कंज्यूमर्स क्या कह रहे हैं. उन्होंने कि जो उन्होंने अपार्टमेंट बेचा या उन्होंने दुकान बेची या उन्होंने कोई एरिया बेचा, वो जो उनके एंड यूज़र्स हैं उसको 10 years डाउन द लाइन यूज़ करके आपके बारे में क्या कह रहे हैं, दैट क्रेडिबिलिटी is being now appreciated, especially in the north. I feel you know that understanding is getting better, but still I will tell you, I mean there are a lot of times when people say कि देखो हमें अपने घर में लगाना है तो हम कर लेंगे, but why should we invest in something we have to
किराए पे देना है,
किराए पे देना है मुझे तो I don't care about it.
भाई अच्छा भी लगा दूंगा तो किराया उतना ही मिलने का है.
Without realizing that you know there is a value addition that you're doing for the next 10 years of your own product, not just for the space, not just for your kirayadar, not just for your you know user, but for your legacy in times to
Correct.
come. And I think that is something that we are constantly trying कि हम educate करें, and with experts in the industry I think it's coming in very easy. ये और एक और चीज़ इंटरेस्टिंग हो रही है मार्केट में कि जैसे अब हमारी लेगेसीज क्रिएट हो रही हैं, राइट, फॉर द फर्म्स, फॉर द डेवलपर्स, फॉर द गवर्नमेंट, एवरीबडी इज नाउ सीइंग कि हमने, बिकॉज अर्बनाइजेशन लाइक आई सेड प्रिटी मच स्टार्टेड व्हेन, आई मीन इफ यू टॉक अबाउट गुड़गांव, व्हेन डीएलएफ स्टार्टेड वर्किंग. दिल्ली में आज भी प्राइवेट लैंड नहीं है
करेक्ट
उस साइज़ की कि वहाँ पे इतना बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट हो सके. सो जब अर्बनाइजेशन लोगों ने देखनी शुरू करी और आज हम उसको यू नो 15-20 years बाद देख रहे हैं कि भाई उसकी क्या वैल्यू एस्केलेशन हुई है, बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट समथिंग वाज डन, सम राइट डिसीजंस वर टेकन 15-20 years बैक, एंड पीपल आर नाउ रियलाइजिंग कि अगर हम वो सही डिसीजंस अब लेंगे फॉर आवर लेगेसी, फॉर आवर कमिंग जनरेशन, दिस विल बी एन एसेट, this will be a value creation.
Absolutely.
And what is happening is there's a good mix of government and private happening also, wherein people are learning from each other. So there is public private partnership happening, there is all sorts of overlaps happening. So even the government is now understanding the value of putting the right money in the right place. So I think this is an interesting time for us.
Just to add in second on to what she was mentioning, I think there has been umpteen examples of people who kind of went ahead with a good quality product, and specifically I'll talk about Fenesta, and they realized yes, they took a chance and kind of spent maybe 20% extra, but actually the value of the property went up dramatically because they put the right product.
Correct.
And that kind of, so initially for example we started way back in 2003-04, and window as such there was no industry of window, and of course UPVC was not known at that point of time.
That I mentioned, it was a 200 rupee kg
Correct. And when we started with, I think we had a lot of challenge in terms of convincing people that window as a factory made product needs to be looked into. But that I think over a period of time changed, and right now also there are a lot of builders who would want to kind of put a good quality product, because now that they have understood that it is not one time business. If you want to remain in a business for a longer period of time, you have to give a quality product to your consumers. Now whether it is me as a seller of a window or a door, or a builder who is a seller of houses, or even somebody who is building for themselves, but either you will continue to stay in for a longer period of time, or if you would resell, if you put the good quality product, your pricing will go up dramatically. So I think this sense has started coming in. Yes, of course the transition is slow, and that's where I think I continue to feel our role is very important.
But Saket, I think
I've said
this during different conversations that the role of the seller, the role of the person creating the spec is prima, because the consumer doesn't really know, doesn't know much.
Yes.
So it's our job as product manufacturers,
Correct.
suppliers, to be able to have that level of consciousness के हमें undersell नहीं करना.
Correct.
आपको ये फॉर एग्जाम्पल हाइपोथेटिकली 1000 रुपये फुट का प्रोडक्ट है, तो इसमें आपको ये मिल रहा है, और आपको हर बार रोज मिलता होगा सुनने में कि वो आया था, वो 600 रुपये में सेम चीज दे रहा है.
Correct.
निरमा की सफेदी, व्हाइट की प्रोफाइल, ये भी व्हाइट की प्रोफाइल, भाई दोनों में फर्क क्या है?
Correct.
आपको आपके साथ ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस हुआ सर?
Your daily life is like that.
Yeah.
Correct.
As a consumer, I think one of the first thought that comes to your mind is the cost of what you're going to do.
Correct.
But I think the way it has to be looked is, professionals like architects, what they also do, they sit down with the consumers,
Yes.
understand the taste, understand what they are liking, and then make it more professionally.
Correct.
No,
So I think then it comes out, so probably I'm saying, and as we
Yeah.
were discussing,
Yeah.
if you do it today, it will come out much more beautiful, much more aesthetic.
No,
and-
to
In a
answer-
collaborative effort.
In a
No,
more
you just said
Yes.
don't do it the way he
Don't
did
do
it.
it.
But that time the windows
There
were
was no
not
possible.
there.
Yes, that's
See,
right.
the problem is, I remember now that you mentioned it, I had gone to visit a friend of mine in Germany, in Frankfurt.
Right.
And his apartment had these kind of doors and windows. In fact, I was so mesmerized by this door, which was an entry door, an exit door to his backyard. And
It would slide.
It could, it could open like this.
Yeah, it's called
Tilt and
tilt
turn.
This,
Tilt and turn.
open
Yeah,
like
tilt
this.
and
Tilt and
It would
turn.
open everywhere, and it could completely open on a hinge also.
Yep, yep.
And I was telling my wife, my God, when we make the house in Gurgaon,
We're gonna put this.
We're gonna put this. She says, यहाँ से तो ले जाते तो cost of construction. And if these guys were there at that time, trust me, I am quality conscious. I am quality conscious of what did you call it? Ease of living.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very conscious of that quality and dignity of existing in your house. I would have put those windows.
कोई गाल
But
नहीं.
they were नहीं थी.
हल्ले भी ला
अब
सकते
मैं
हैं.
आहिस्ता आहिस्ता कर रहा हूँ थोड़ा थोड़ी.
So just for all of you to know, everything, majority, which is available anywhere in the world is available in India.
Now,
I think
Yes.
to be
Now,
fair,
now,
yes.
Saket, to be
Yes.
fair,
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely, yes.
In
Now,
fact,
yes.
I would say, in fact, in some of the areas, we are better than rest
Better.
of the world.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Because in terms of technological advancements, I think lots and lots of, and I think there are a lot of companies who have put in a lot of efforts and money in research and development and making it Indianized.
Correct.
Because Indian weather is very different weather, right from Ladakh and Leh to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Northeast.
No, we have all the lovely
Yes.
extremes.
We have 50
Absolutely.
types of weather and climatic conditions. So the
Right.
product has to be suitable to different types of climates. You
Right.
just can't have one size fits all.
And I will talk a little bit here, and before we move to the next pointer, Fenesta institutionalized the window industry. I give them 100% credit for it, and because I've seen it from the time that they started to where they are today, and I think they disrupted an industry where it's now become, I don't know, 20 to 50,000 crore industry. There are in UPVC windows, which are the white and brown colors that you see everywhere, is about 40 to 50 profile manufacturers here,
Yes.
I guess. And every multinational that is known of in this industry, mostly Germans, I would say,
Yes.
and the rest Indians, they are all here. We have plenty, but bear in mind what I said at the beginning. This is a $50 billion industry in the next 10 years. So there's enough to do. But I think what Mitu mentioned, the customers, the builders, the developers, the architects, it's on them to actually put the right product in place and do not try to cut corners. I'll tell you a small story. This is something that just came into my mind. One of my earliest trips to Shanghai, the Pudong airport was just built, and I was driving in a taxi and I see all these buildings with lights on. It was early evening, but I couldn't see any people. So it was in my mind कि भाई किसी से पूछूं कि फंडा कैसा. The next trip, I traveled pretty often. My translator said कि why are these buildings empty? So she says, I don't know. I said, okay, can you find out from someone? So she said, okay, I'll figure it out. And she came back, she said कि यहाँ ना people have moved out of the building, बिजली का बिल बहुत आता है. So at that time I couldn't connect the dots, and we're talking about light, we're talking about energy. So then I spoke to somebody who was in the business. He said कि these buildings were made with single glass. और वहाँ पे इतनी धूप आती है और लाइट इतनी आती है, उसके लिए कोई प्रोटेक्शन है नहीं. तो अगर 1 लाख रुपए का किराया है तो 4 लाख रुपए तो बिजली का बिल है. तो कौन उसको रेंट करेगा? So I was sitting with a builder, and I don't want to name, a dear friend of mine, and I told him this story. I said, तू ये commercial complex बना रहा है, तो भाई इसमें ना तू double glass लगा. I had just learnt from the trade, so I knew a little bit better. He said, ₹2 extra खर्च होंगे, but तेरी building कभी खाली नहीं रहेगी. I guess he listened to me and he got my logic, and he put that in that building, and then this. Of course, I don't take any claim for it, but people started becoming more conscious. But somebody has to tell them with real examples कि ये भाई पूरा खाली पड़ा हुआ है. So I think you also hear say. So from a repeatability point, when you were talking about customers repeating Fenesta windows, for example, here, why would as an architectural firm, why do people repeat your company?
So I think one thing I've learned being in the service industry in India, especially the north, is client आपका भगवान होता है, is something that I've learned. And अगर आपकी client servicing अच्छी है तो आप grow करोगे. अगर आपका client grow करेगा तो आप grow करोगे.
Correct.
If you are able to understand his pain or her pain and work for them, with them, उनके साथ चल के, then only you can prosper. And I think that's something that I have learned, and we have been trying to do that. But that's something that I've noticed with Fenesta also. I don't think you would know that we in our house also we have Fenesta, and till date, and it's been what 7-8 years now, and any problem that happens, you guys are just a call away. And it's not me or anybody from my office calling, it's my helper in the house calling the helpline and saying कि ये problem है. The after sales service and being with the client, understanding that there will be changes. Like, you know, I'll give you an interesting example. We wanted the doors to, the windows to be lockable. And initially they were not lockable. Okay, they were lockable, but then with the turn, you could open it from the outside also. Then we said there's no point, I mean, we need better security. Then we got some customization done, and Fenesta was happy to do it, that we got special locks done in our windows, I mean our sliding doors and windows, and we've been using it for almost 8 years now, and they still work very well.
That's most important.
We go and we travel a lot, so our house is like empty for weeks and weeks, and and we don't have those security systems in place. But you know
something.
So I'm just saying that, sorry, but what I want to complete is that for any organization, whether in this industry or any industry, being able to service the client after delivering the product is something that is very important. And windows and fenestrations is something that, you know, कि आपकी noise के लिए आपने करा, but हो सकता है वो noise cater नहीं हुई. So somebody should be able to come back and look at it and address that issue for them. I think that is something very important.
But also I think यहाँ पे मिट्टी की कोई कमी नहीं है. किसी ना किसी रीजन से भाई साहब वो विंडो चलनी बंद हो जाएगी, कुछ ना कुछ होगी.
नहीं, हर चीज का सॉल्यूशन है.
But somebody should be there to come and address it, ना?
Exactly. If you're happy and willing to come and talk about it with your clients, is what makes you, you know, the next choice for your next project.
No, but I think just adding on to what she was mentioning, I think for any organization, and especially all of us who are into service industry, trust and relationship is something what matters to the consumer.
But you build it.
And you have to build it.
Yes.
And you have to give that experience to your consumer again and again and again and again.
Because consistency.
Whether it is pre-sales, during sales, post-sales, and that's what I keep on talking in my organization, that customer centricity is something. So for example, whatever we will be doing or whatever we do, customer has to be the frontal face in front of us, and we have to do everything around that, so that the consumer actually feels a difference when they are interacting with a company like
मैं इसको और सिंपली बोलूँ कि अगर किसी ने आपको हाइपोथेटिकली 100 रुपये 200 रुपये फुट एक्स्ट्रा दिए, वो उस समय तो उसको लगेगा पिंच के मैंने ज़्यादा पैसे दे दिए, बट आई थिंक इवेंचुअली आफ्टर ही गेट्स द आफ्टर सेल सर्विस, तभी उसकी रियलाइजेशन आती है कि हाँ मैंने अगर 2 रुपये एक्स्ट्रा खर्च किए तो मैं आज भी मैं फ़ोन करता हूँ तो फटाफट बंदा.
करेक्ट.
जैसे I don't want to name an electronic company, their products are average, but their service is superb. खराब हो जाती है चीज़.
So that's what I was coming to. So the two pillars for us is innovation, and that's where we continue to invest into it to bring better product to our consumers. And second is about service. Again, pre-sales, post-sales, during sales. Of course, we have a contact center over here. It's in the same building. 30 people are on the call at any point of time.
Always for service.
Always for service. Of course, most of our calls are with regard to the new inquiries. Only 5% or even less than that comes for the kind of service request, because the product that we make is for lifelong. In
Correct.
fact, we warranty that kind of a thing, that for lifelong the service will be there. So I kind of keep on saying this to all my consumers, that even 100 years after, you will definitely not find me around, but you will definitely find Fenesta and its service around.
But I think
the way we are building
but
the
that's
organization.
where I think broader, and I'm not saying only particular to Windows, like Mitu mentioned, anything, any product or a brand, and I don't want to name any brand here, but all the brands are brands simply because they, follow this quality. They followed a product which is super good, so as to making sure that you don't have a problem. If you don't have a problem, then I don't need a call center. Why would I need a call center?
Exactly.
So the first is you shouldn't have a problem, and if by chance, because at times, because for example, the kid has just banged into a door and there is a glass, or somebody has put a stone, or over a period of time there is something with the hardware, we are just a call away. And the things get, for example, like Windows, we supplied maybe 20 years back. We have evolved as an organization. Different types of hardwares have come in, but we are still keeping stocks of those hardwares which were supplied 20 years back. So just in case if the consumer wants, ye change kar do, we are there.
But I think it's a mentality.
I agree completely.
As a manufacturer, as a service supplier, it's about a mentality.
It's about the
You've had service issues with let's say specifically in your house with different products, not Windows per se, in general.
Oh, sure.
All the time.
All the time.
All of us.
Yeah.
From the gate to the toilet. I mean, there are so many products that you interact with, if you like. You've got your television, you've got your air conditioning,
All of it, the fridge.
you've got your refrigeration, you've got your washing machine, you've got your dishwasher. Everything is automated, and everything has to be eventually bought after all these considerations of
Due diligence per se.
due diligence, really. And then it's always helpful to have access to a person who can come and fix a problem if there is one.
I want Saket to deliver a small message to our whole industry that all of the industry, a lot of you might hate Fenesta because they're successful and profitable and so on. It's because they followed the mantra of quality and consistency. And I think I said it for you actually, but I want you to say this. Just follow that mantra, bro, and that's all you need to do.
I think as I just mentioned about put the customer first for everything that we are trying to do. Innovation in products has to be continuous. You can't just continue with the same product. Indianize the product if you're coming from outside, because Indian environments are very, very different from what happens in US or UK or Germany for that matter. And one thing which is very, very important is customer service, and that this industry, and I think I would say not only fenestration but the complete building and material industry, and I continue to say this in our organization, that the kind of service that we need to give to our customer is such that the customer should say that not only windows, probably everything in the building material industry I'll start buying from Fenesta the day they will come in.
Inshallah.
So that's the way we want to deliver that service to the consumer, that if for example tomorrow we want to come into sanitary ware, they would say, okay, switch to Fenesta now, because that's the kind of a service. Because product is one.
Still, बहुत बड़ी market है भाई. You
true.
can prefer them, but there are others will survive as well. I
think the market is huge. It is everybody has a place to
phenomenal.
play. Everybody has a place to play. We just
Absolutely.
have to kind of give the right kind of a product. I think the first is giving right kind of a product, and therefore the understanding the need of the consumer, spending that time. Like for example, in our case, we make it as a mandatory that you have to visit the site, walk with the customer to different rooms, understand what the consumer is saying, and also tell them that okay, in this room, this is next to the highway, and therefore sound has to be a problem that needs to be solved. This is a side on which the sun is coming, and therefore this is the problem. Do it, don't do it all size, one size fits all. Make it customized experience to that consumer, and therefore deliver the product. And that's where the consultative selling comes into. That's where the kind of service, and service is not only after sales. For example, for us, even during sales, because this consultative selling is the service that we are wanting to offer.
Actually,
to the
also the
consumer.
Saket, the customer's mind is always कि ये सब बातें करके ना इंग्लिश करके ज़्यादा पैसे ले लेंगे हमसे. मतलब अरे यार इंग्लिश बंद करो.
I think that's where the issue of value versus cost comes
but
in.
value
people want to pay more money.
They want to pay,
to
but they don't know.
People.
Okay.
See, I think with changing
सर हम तो
times,
गए, हम तो गए रणवीर पंजाबी
देखो,
पे.
आप तो बहुत
I think with changing times, the glamorization of things has also become important. Now people want not just value for money, or people want कि मेरे घर में जो आए या मेरे स्पेस में जो आए
वो appreciate
वो
करें.
मतलब ऐसा होना चाहिए कि वाह यार क्या चीज
अंग्रेजी
लगाई है,
type.
मतलब
It has to be a wow factor.
Wow factor has to be there.
But also I think,
And people are willing to pay for the wow
but also I
factor.
think आज की date में more people travel. They
Yeah.
have more a sense of what's happening
Exposure,
around the
yeah.
world. Like you said कि मैं जर्मनी गया, मैंने ये देखी विंडो हर कोने में खुल रही, भाई मैंने भी
काश
चाहिए.
मेरे घर में भी आ जाए.
हाँ.
Nowadays, you know, you'll be surprised. People want you to walk into a room and then say कि अच्छा कुछ नया बताइए आप हमें.
Yeah.
जो है, जो बिक रहा है, वो तो मुझे पता है.
Correct.
पर आप मुझे कुछ नया बताइए. And I think that's where things
Challenge,
are changing.
challenge.
Correct.
No, it's
But
good
you
for
have
us.
to do it. But you have to do it.
I mean,
And you
it's
have to
good. I mean,
deliver
it's a
it on
good
their
time
day.
for all of us, for them, for me, for everybody, right? Like, if our customer or our client is willing to learn something new,
Why
wants
not?
to explore something new, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I
You
think
know?
I'll give you another example. Like you get into a room, what is the first thing that you do?
Just open the
Open the
window,
curtains.
See
and
the
then see
outside.
the
see
view.
the outside,
Yeah.
see the window, and through the window see the
Right,
outside.
right.
I think all of us have done it throughout our life.
Right.
In fact, even if a building,
correct. Absolutely.
even if you see any
100%.
building,
Yeah.
the facade comes in front of you, and in that, what is the piece of architecture that is? Of course, that is there. But you also look at the fenestration that is there, whether it is
Right.
facade, whether it is windows, whether
Doesn't
it is
matter.
doors.
It's the light.
It's very
It
important,
becomes
yeah.
very important, and
Yeah.
therefore I think we have experienced it over a period of time, and we are now helping our consumers to also experiencing that the same way, that how it is important, and therefore whether it is aesthetics, whether it is functionality, whether it is peace of mind, whether it is better by design, how every element plays an important role.
So we designed a residential condominium right in the heart of Delhi city,
Okay.
wherein in one of the apartments we placed the bathtub right next to the main view of the apartment. So, by design, the bathroom was coming in that location, and we designed the bathtub with a full window. So, just imagine the pleasure of somebody living in that house कि मैंने master bedroom में walk in किया, मुझे पूरा angular
270
view आ
degree view आ
रहा
रहा
है.
है.
And then when I enter the bathroom also, मुझे पूरा view आ रहा है. Like from my bathtub I can enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't need a hotel. I
Yeah,
can
correct.
just,
Yeah.
dip in my own house bathtub, and that escalated the value of the house. Similarly, we designed a resort. We're doing a resort in Shimla where we also positioned the bathtub right outside in the, next to the terrace. So when you are
Like
in
an infinity kind of a thing.
correct. And so when you are inside the room, you see the beautiful terrace and the views, but you can also enjoy it from the bathtub. And that is only possible because of
But end of the day, all of this is helping your brain, soul
Yes.
eventually, and that's how you get this ease of living.
Correct.
Fundamentally, we are circumventing back to the same
That-
thing.
Right,
Yes.
End of the day, तो होते कुछ नहीं हैगा. Why do you want Shanti is back? So that's the whole deal.
yeah.
Correct.
इंडिया में जहाँ बिल्डिंग खाली पड़ी, आई थिंक लार्जली बिकॉज या तो लाइट बहुत आती है या साउंड बहुत आती है. अब आपके पास बेटर चॉइसेस टू रेंट है, तो आप क्यों जाओगे एक, चाहे लोकेशन कोई भी हो, कनॉट प्लेस हो या XYZ हो, व्हाई वुड यू टैंजेंट. So just one or two more questions, that when you're designing now we've talked a lot about light, sound, blah blah blah, pollution. So now it's become like ingrained in an architecture design ke you see the application, you see the environment and habitat, and then you design the buildings and then the products to be used in those buildings.
Correct.
So that's become standard.
No, I think there is one more aspect, which is flexibility. I think flexibility and adaptability of a space is very important. So nowadays people want कि एक घर में मुझे सब कुछ चाहिए, मुझे वहाँ पे जिम भी चाहिए, मुझे वहाँ पे स्टडी टेबल भी चाहिए, मुझे एक बच्चों का प्ले रूम भी चाहिए, मुझे I want to entertain guests also, I want to be able to meditate also, I want to have a bar also, I want to have a corner where I can cook also. So the idea of having everything
Flexible.
in your own home is becoming very popular. Hence flexibility in space is very important. So for us, I say for us, but as a community, for us, there's a lot to explore in terms of how we can make any space flexible. So it's not like a rule book कि मेरे पास एक space आया, मैंने ये catalog में से उठाया और यहाँ पे सब
डाल दिया.
prescribe कर दिया. It's not like a doctor's
Not a plug and
prescription.
play.
It's not a plug and play, at least not for me. I think what we are now evolving towards as a younger generation of users and designers is how we can do multiple things in a single space, and how we can make it more fun and interesting, how we can bring in elements like corner windows with a small nooked bar which can double up as a study or can become a
multiple
bar in the
utility.
evening. So kind of like things wherein we are bringing multiple utility, or with automation,
But
lighting,
everything is possible.
bring in back. Everything is possible. You just have to, like I said, अपने client को बोलना आप बस wish list बताओ, आपको चाहिए क्या. You need to be able to just grasp whatever they want, give them ideas, look around for ideas around the world. There's plenty of things being done, and everything is now possible to be done in India. In fact, better, like we were discussing. So yeah, been very interesting times for us.
आपने बहुत सारे आइडियाज ले लिए होंगे सर. अब घर में बहुत रेनोवेशन करने की जरूरत पड़ जाएगी.
नहीं, ideas, of course, anything is welcome. Any new thing is welcome. I have a sort of a fixed image of what I want in my house, and it's more or less a democratic process. The wife has an opinion as well.
Do you have a say? Do you have a say?
Sometimes I have a say.
God bless you.
But my process with this business of soundproofing my house is an ongoing thing right now.
Okay.
So we have to do it in stages because unfortunately a company like Fenesta doesn't do turnkey jobs. So I have to break the old windows, I have to get masons involved, I have to get carpenters involved, I have to do all that before these guys come.
So maybe Saket, that's an additional business model.
We already have an option. We'll talk offline. So we will be able to kind of change the window in the same day, all complete by ourselves.
Wonderful.
And I think rigidity in any business will not let you survive anymore forever.
Absolutely.
Because somebody
Absolutely.
else will come and disrupt the smallest thing. Like he mentioned कि अगर कोई मेरी ठीक करके मुझे deliver कर दे. I think the larger message to the industries कि भाई कोई legacy नहीं है, बनानी पड़ती है और maintain करनी पड़ती है. Sustaining is tougher than maintaining is even tougher. Therefore, you have to make sure that you're listening to your customer because somebody else is listening.
Yes. Also, just to add on what was being discussed, I think the other thing that has to be kept in mind while we are thinking of consumer is also the futuristic ways in which the world will be 5 years, 10 years down the line. See, the vagaries of weather are changing and they will continue to.
Like this time, barish in this north
Yes.
part is not never ending.
Yes,
Right?
Correct.
It's like
yes, yeah.
See
going
Mumbai.
on forever.
See Mumbai yesterday or day
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Okay.
So this
Actually,
weather
Delhi
pat-
took so much spotlight in the last few days. Na?
yeah, correct.
Bombay
But I think
had to
Bombay
take
had
the
to
way
catch up.
सब हाथ धो यार, they had to
the
catch
way
up.
all of us need to look at it is not only we have to build these houses and offices not only for today but maybe for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years later. And we don't know what will be the kind of extent the weather will change. So we shouldn't be kind of diluting the specs so that the consumer faces the problem at a given point
Also
of
because
time.
consumer doesn't know enough.
And the consumer will face it after 5 years after he has bought in.
So let me put another last question perhaps. Is our business AI proof? What are we doing with AI and Windows? Do we have AI? We have AI in architecture coming up.
Yeah,
with
it's already there.
It's already there. Now how do you see the impact of AI in architecture going forward in time?
That's a very interesting question because there are times we're walking into a meeting and the client is ready with the design.
आज ये दो.
हाँ, आप मतलब he's like कि मैंने चैट जीपीटी पे वो कीवर्ड्स
सब कर लिया
डाले
भाई.
सारा कुछ कि मेरे को यहाँ पे ये
Prompt.
ऐसा चाहिए, प्रॉम्प्ट्स आ गए और उसके हिसाब से एक 3D विजुअल आ गया, नॉट जस्ट वन. उसमें मैंने और प्रॉम्प्ट्स डाले तो उसका ये इटरेशन आ गया, फिर और प्रॉम्प्ट्स डाले फिर आ गया. सो I mean if we are not embracing AI, I'm sorry, but we'll be out of business very soon.
You'll be challenged.
We will be out of business. I mean, if your client is ready with the design before even meeting you or giving you a brief, and the brief is the design itself, then we are talking something else, right? We are not here to educate our client. We are just here to listen to them and do the technical work which is required to deliver what his vision is already, or maybe give him options of the vision that he's come up with already.
Also because
So
the client has the availability of a chat GPT which can give you answers for freaking whatever unimaginable
So let me
stuff.
tell you, ChatGPT is just one medium.
Agreed,
There are
agreed.
other
I'm just
sources
mentioning for the sake of
wherein you
understandability.
can put in a design and then the drawings will also come out of it. And it is happening. So we have I have a chief disruption officer in my
Awesome.
organization
Awesome.
whose job is to just tell me what nonsense is happening and tell me like what all
But
is
also
going on
I've also
and
come to
how we
understand
can.
AI is not taking your job, it's actually just an enabler.
I think it's a fabulous way
Enabler.
of actually I wouldn't say reducing the manpower, because we are not able to reduce the number, but actually be able to take on
More efficiency.
More productive and
more
more
productivity,
efficient.
and also create something, you know, more dreamy and stunning, which was not possible before, right? You know, earlier
Yeah.
it used to take like 2 to 3 weeks to come up with a nice looking visual or a 3D. Now we do a lot of interesting work in our
If you want to
office.
get good answers from AI, you have to take the paid versions. Free वाले में ना you keep
हाँ,
waiting.
you have to
you
take the
have
paid.
to keep
So
waiting.
I think
we are
AI is a
investing a
part
lot,
of life
yeah.
now. That's the way
Yeah.
we look at in our organization. So in every
So how are
function-
you infusing AI into your organization perspective, product side and business side?
So that's what I was saying. It is in every part, whether it is marketing, because you have to create stuff, you have to create content. So that's where AI is being used. You have to manage your online reputation. That's where AI is being used. You have to innovate and continue to innovate product. And not
Also
only
because the customer will come and tell you, like she said,
Yeah.
ला भैया
correct,
मुझे बना दे.
correct.
Yeah.
So you have to so we are using there. So
Sorry,
we are
next.
using in our HR function for training
Yeah.
our people, because we are spread across. We have
That's a very
400.
good idea,
We are
yeah.
we have 400 showrooms spread across 255 cities. Now, by no means I can conduct training offline or even online on a
Wonderful,
continuous
yeah.
basis. Now I have an AI app on which a person is being trained, and not only trained, it's being tested also. So he or she gets a result.
You call them agentic co-pilots.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
to be fair, and I've run multiple companies across industries, and I realized that AI is an enabler. It's a tool. Use it, embrace it. Don't say कि बकवास है या मेरी नौकरी किसी की नौकरी नहीं जाने वाली. आपकी नौकरी बल्कि और ज़्यादा enable हो जाएगी by using AI. And in building industry बोल लो नहीं, यहाँ तो सब brick and mortar है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. The customer experience is
Correct.
the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And we have a customer. Of course, all of us are customers
Yeah,
of something
yeah.
or the other, but we are sitting here to have a conversation around. So, ideally, to make more conscious decisions is when you listen to experts, and they charge extra money. If you say they charge extra money, but that's actually not extra money. ज़्यादा पैसे नहीं खर्च होते to make a more conscious decision.
Absolutely not.
और उसका lifetime value, आजकल ये 100 startup world का word है, lifetime value. I think it makes a lot of sense.
You don't want to go to a dentist for a stomach ache.
For sure.
So you go to a dentist when you have teeth trouble, you have a stomach ache, you go to a surgeon.
No,
or something.
it's like an analogy which I heard recently. One of our friends said that when you go to a hospital and you have a problem, XYZ, you'll say, boss, I want the best specialist for this, I want the best specialist for that.
Exactly.
But जब घर बनाना है तो अपने आप ले गए, शीशा वीशा काट के खिड़की, no offenses.
No.
So I think the essence lies, that's our job, sorry, as a company, as an organization, as a set of people to just, we're not just doing bakwas here trying to tell you something. Its essence is, you have money, spend it wisely.
Be value conscious, not just the cost conscious. I think the whole ownership, cost of ownership, I think all of us, I think, would remember that Maruti ad, ki kitna mileage deti hai, kitna deti hai, kind of a thing. So if you're putting any product, look at what is the life cycle of the product, what are the kind of savings that you can accrue from that product, not just the cost of buying that product.
We're trying to put a closure on today's discussion, and there will be many more discussions. Closing thoughts, Mitu?
No, I think we had a very interesting conversation, and I think what stuck out to me most was that coming from different walks of life, I think for us the boundaries of professionalism are blurring. You know, we talked about our own professions, we talked about expectations, changing expectations of societies, generations,
Right.
AI coming in, and I feel now as a professional in the industry, in the building industry, I feel the more aware we are, the more embracive we are towards the newness that's coming in, and the more, I would say resilient or responsive we are towards the requirements of the changing times, the better position we are in. And we all have to learn from each other, we all have to learn from our own mistakes, and learn from other people in the fraternity, whether it's an actor or a manufacturer or an industry leader talking about issues at large. We are in a collaborative work environment, and I think that's the way forward.
I want to add this pointer where this is a lot of misunderstanding, where most companies, they take big stars as sponsors and whatever. They think that these brands are making a hell of a lot of money and so on. Check out their balance sheet, pull it out from the ROC, and you'll find out how much EBITDA they are making, just like any other company, because they're spending a lot of money educating and making their customers aware of what's the right product to buy. That is where a majority of the money is going. So
In fact, the whole of money is going into R&D,
Right.
and is in terms of making this product much more affordable and much more popular in the market. So a lot of money is getting into that. So I think, yes, you are right. So we do invest in various spheres of life, whether it is on marketing, whether it is on training of our people. The idea is how do we
everything.
give the best
It's
product to the
it's a
consumer.
synchronization to the
So
whole.
that is which is very important for us.
You know, I worked with 20 over multinationals in my life as a distributor, as a joint venture, manufacturing partners. In the early days of my life, when all these beautiful goras used to come and talk about quality, and they would show me this design,
Yes.
I would say, chomu bana rahe hain, mera ye na paise la rahe hain. But then I started manufacturing products of myself to high standards, and you've been our customer forever. That I realized, to maintain high standards, you need to invest.
Yes,
Yes.
you need to
Absolutely.
continue to invest.
अपनी जेब से कब तक लगाते हो? You have to get the money in. So I think we all have aspiration to buy great products, whatever. I don't want to name anything in particular because it's an aspiration and it costs money. So with that, I think I fold the session for today. Thank you all for listening in. Thank you, Mitu. Thank you, Dahiya sir. Thank you, Saket. Thank you, team WFM.
Thank
you,
you,
team
everyone.
Fenesta. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sushmita.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.